So what you guys just saw obviously isn't a real big demonstration of strength or ability or anything like that, but what it is a group of exercises that I found to be very helpful for what I can only call chronic pelvic pain for men. Hopefully you have no idea what I'm talking about, but there's a small population, about 10% or less, of men in their late 30s usually, fit, history of exercise being in their life. There is a history of some kind of like tailbone trauma, like breaking the tailbone or your pelvis or something like that, which I do have. But this intermittent pain that was just debilitating and ruined my life for a long while, that I've dealt with for like 10 years, I've kind of had to figure out on my own that it's through retraining and realigning the muscles in your pelvic floor, because for women and men, there's a lot in a little. And what I mean by that is there's not a lot of space, and there's several organs or body systems that are key, shall we say. Their working well is gonna definitely make life more enjoyable and easier for you. And men, the enlarged prostate, all that stuff that happens with age, we don't need any help as a gendered population in making things more complicated. So if that space gets constricted or impeded, and so does the blood flow, bad things happen, and they're not in ways that you'll like, and they're in ways that may surprise you. But if you're having digestive issues, meaning you're not regular in terms of your movements, and your diet is pretty normal, erections, urination, like pretty much everything starts to be affected. And the good news is you're not broken, you just might be misaligned. I'm not saying this is your situation. I'm not saying it's the answer to all situations for people who have such symptoms, but if you've dealt with a chronic pain that doctors keep testing you for all these things and they keep coming back with no answers, because guys, I probably went half a dozen ER visits, and doctors alike, and they test me for bacterial and abacterial prostatitis, which is inflammation of the prostate due to bacteria and due to not bacteria. They ruled out STD. They ruled out, prostate problems. BPH levels and everything PSA was normal. BPH didn't appear to be a problem. And it just was really confusing, because even when I would go in with symptoms, they couldn't find a reason why I was experiencing this debilitating pain, literally from my kneecaps to like my belly button. Like everything between there was affected. Sometimes so bad to the point that it would make me physically ill. Like I'd throw up because I was in so much pain. And then when that started, the day was pretty much over. You can't do anything. You don't look well. You're doubled over in pain. You can't focus on anything. And it really starts to affect your life. And it starts to affect your outlook on life, or at least it did mine. And I really just one morning was kind of given a moment of clarity where I realized that pain is useful information. It is something that needs to be interpreted and dealt with. And so don't just treat the symptoms, don't just make the pain stop, which is the last thing I want to do, because I also am recovered from opioid addiction, for those of you that don't know. So I don't want to just go grab a handful of pills and make it stop. I want to actually fix the problem. And that seemed to be where the rub was. I couldn't get a name for the problem to fix, no matter where I looked. And so finally, just through different videos on YouTube, a lot of reading, thank God that I went to school for exercise physiology and have spent a great deal of my life studying the human body and anatomy and the responses that the human body can have to different deficiencies or changes in things like hormones and vitamins and, even foods. But, I've gotten the luxury of working in a lot of different facets of the fitness organization. And with that comes, a decent amount of knowledge. So I was a jack of all trades, a master of none. And I don't proclaim to be the smartest man in the world, but always remember that you are the smartest doctor in the room. Like, don't ever let people tell you that you're not feeling something that you are. No matter how well educated they are, they still put their pants on one leg at a time. So if you feel like something is wrong, voice that concern, And I just knew something was wrong. And I was almost able to see it, like in like a lucid dream form, but I wasn't able to express like what it might be or really narrow it down at all. And I still can't really, but I know there's a few things that help. If I get in over my head and it already hurts way too freaking bad, a warm bath and stretching helps a great deal. Anti-inflammatories, if you're into that kind of thing and your stomach and your kidneys are up for it. Again, this is not medical advice. I'm not advising that you do or don't do any of this stuff. I'm just telling you what worked for you. I don't like to take pills, anything, even ibuprofen, just because I kind of went OCD the other direction. And now I feel like our bodies are so well equipped that if we just give it time and water and food, that it will build an immunity, fix the problem, you'll be okay. So anyway, having said that, the warm bath helps. Stretching, I can't tell you enough. And stretching of like the inner thigh and the hip girdle and the quadricep, especially the hip flexor and the rectus femoris. Key, especially if you sit a lot and even looking down at your phone or computer screen a lot, all of the muscles on the front side of our body get shortened, right? And then as a result, the muscles on the back side of our body get lengthened and our spine is pulled directions it's not supposed to be, and muscles don't fire or work to the capacity that they should, and some overwork or work to a higher capacity than they should have to, and that's where we start to see problems come in. Okay, so sometimes it really is as simple as realigning yourself or retraining yourself to be properly aligned. So making sure that like sleeping position, posture, footwear, the way that you walk, the way that you sit, the way that you stand, just breathing, okay? And oh yeah, dental work. Cannot emphasize enough. Dental work, stomach health, spinal alignment. Those are like the foundational tools that if one of those is missing, nothing is gonna work. I mean, if you have poor dental health, you're essentially swallowing poison all day. Your posture and your alignment, starting from the top of your head down, is off, okay? You're not gonna be able to chew or digest well enough the food that you're depending on to get nutrients, okay? And you're gonna more likely than not develop some kind of an abscess that's going to basically poison you from the inside out. You think I'm wrong or exaggerating? Google it. Google it. Don't believe me. Again, I'm not a doctor. I've just been around for 41 years. And at 18 years old, I became a personal trainer. And since then, I took it upon myself to continue to learn and guinea pig myself to find answers to questions that I couldn't get any other way. So it's crazy, but the oral health is key, okay? And then from there, like I said, the posture, keeping your core engaged, sleeping in a semi-flat angle, not sitting in just like a slumped position all the time. If you sit at work, getting up to stretch, just putting your body through a full range of motion. You use it, you lose it. It's true, I mean, if you watch a little kid, an infant or toddler, they don't even use their hands getting up off the floor. Granted, they have leverage differences. Their legs are shorter, right? Their center of gravity is lower. But still, the flexibility in their hips and their ability to just do it, is far greater than hours as adults, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. We should be able to do most of, if not all of those same movements. So going back to basics and reestablishing flexibility and just proper body weight mechanics has been key. This whole thing has been very humbling to me because remember, like, I've tried to be a competitive bodybuilder and did pretty good at it. Done some competitive powerlifting, done bicycle motocross, done various types of bicycle racing, and was at least proficient at all of it, right? So I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was in good health. Then when this pain started, it really threw me for a loop because literally, guys, there were weeks on end where I was just unable to eat, unable to train, unable to do anything. And it got to the point where, I hate to say it, but I was really just like, man, if this is all I have to look forward to, like, check me in now, because I don't want to be a burden like this to everybody. I don't want to just exist, like, I'm 41 years old. I plan on making it to 100. I don't want to just be. I want to still do stuff. I want to accomplish things. So anyway, like I said, one day I was sitting in the bathtub and it just came to me. I started massaging different points of my feet, and it was really interesting to me how much more difficult it was to bring one foot up towards me than the other one was. And as I massaged different pressure points and whatnot, the pain started to subside. And then that got replaced with this idea that, hey, stupid, maybe this whole thing is because you're not paying attention to something real basic, and you're building a house on a foundation that's not even dry yet. It's not set. And since that time, I canceled my gym membership, partly because I'm moving, but partly because I found my exercise being more along the lines of Tai Chi, yoga, and bodyweight exercises. My body weight has gone up, and my body fat percentage hasn't moved, and I'm in less pain, and I've had 0 debilitated days of the phantom pelvic pain. So, proof is in the pudding for me at this point. And I am putting together kind of a list of the stretches and the exercises that I find helpful. But the most recent exercise stuff, the TRX bands for the chest exercises, those TRX bands can be used for any body part, and they are great not only because they're a space saver, but they require you to use what are called stabilizer muscles, right? So a lot of things that machines will take over for in gyms, because some people are lazy or it's just not safe to lift 100-pound dumbbells or a barbell, and they'll use a machine instead. Still better than nothing. But can you do 25 or 30 good body weight push-ups in a row, right? Can you do pull-ups overhanded? Can you do a correct squat overhead with a dowel? Can you get up without any hands? Can you run a mile? Like these little things that we should be able to do if we're fit, right? But I couldn't. I'm still working on some of them, and I'm embarrassed to say, like, I watched, living across the street from a high school, I watched football practices that I used to, I don't want to brag, but I do fairly easily or efficiently. And now, no, sir. So, you don't need a lot of stuff to be fit, and the older, especially that I get, and the older I think that we get as people, the emphasis or the point of focus of the workout totally changes. So now, I want my cardio to improve, I want my flexibility to improve, and I want my cells to live longer before they die. So, anti-aging. So, do I care about having 20-inch arms anymore? No. Do I want them to look good? Yeah. Do I want to look good naked still? Yeah. But that'll all come if I eat well and do those other things that I mentioned previously in this video. So again, this is the Human Improvement Project, the HIP, not the HPP as it used to be, the Human Performance Project, because sometimes you have to improve first to get to the performance level. And that's okay. Admitting that you're not where you want to be, but you don't know how to get there, is not a monument to weakness. It is really saying, I want this so dang bad that I'm willing to say I need help. I don't know what I'm doing. My way isn't working the way I want it to or the way I think it should. That takes more strength than just beating your head against a wall every day and doing something that's not working. No matter what we're talking about here, whether it is actually weightlifting or whether it's just a different habit that you're trying to break in your everyday life. But remember, if you don't push yourself to be your very best, you're doing yourself a disservice. It doesn't mean you have to be an Olympic athlete, but we only have one meat bag to wear in this trip around the sun, you know? So do the best with it as you can. Why not? Push it. See what you can do. See what it can do. If we only use 10% of our brains, that means there's probably a good percentage of our body's capacity that we don't use as well, right? When everything lines up, mwah, I still haven't gotten there yet, but I get closer all the time, and I can kind of see small samples of what it's going to look like when it comes together. But balance is the key to life. I know that now as a 41-year-old male. Balance is the key to life. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what your situation is. Doesn't matter what you want your situation to be. Balance is the key to life. You know, you really have to keep things in balance. Duh. No, but moderation is key. Whether we're talking about cupcakes or crack, you know, anything that can disrupt that balance, anything that can make you pay more attention to one specific thing other than the whole enchilada, it's a problem. It's a problem, and it's okay. It happens. The world gives us so many excuses or reasons or things that can become problems, and it emails them to you, right? It alerts you to them. Get your validation from doing a good job because you know you did a good job, not because someone gave it a like on Instagram. All right? And I speak from experience on that. It's ironic, and I know that it's somewhat hypocritical that I'm coming to you on YouTube saying this, but for a long time I didn't love myself, and I don't know what that stain is. I don't know. I think it's yogurt or something. But anyway, I didn't love myself, and so there's really nothing that anyone could have told me that I would have received or believed or like actually digested, you know, and like taken to heart. And now, you know, I don't have as big a circle, but the people that do tell me stuff, I believe what they say, you know, I believe what they say, good and bad. So you are worth it, and you have just as much right to your dreams and your goals and your happiness as anyone else on this planet, unless they're to hurt other people, and then I'm sorry, I can't get down with that. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And if people stifle your goals, they're not your people, you know? Bring them the receipts. Don't tell them about your plans, because people are always going to try to poop on positive stuff. You can't do it. You'll never do that. Just do it and then show them, you know? Don't advertise it. Just for what it's worth. I have a bad habit of like expressing my interest in dreams, and I have 37 per second. So, you know, after a while, your word stops meaning stuff when you say you're going to do something until you really do it. So, you know, don't become that person. Just speak through your actions. The loudest and most powerful words are going to be the ones that don't come out of your mouth. And the person who is the strongest one in a room is usually the one who's saying the least. Your presence and the way that you feel and the energy you give off means exponentially more than what kind of words come out of there. Because, you know, even the glaze on a clay pot can make it pretty, but that's really just an external covering of what flaws could really lie beneath, right? And yes, that is part of the Bible verse that is horribly, horribly butchered, but the point is, it's what's on the inside that counts. Live to be a good person. Even if you are pretty, still be a good person. Don't be pretty on the outside and ugly on the inside. That is a horrible combination. And if you're ugly on the outside, you can't be ugly on the inside. You just can't. That's an even worse combination. You got to have at least some goodness in there. So stay right-sized. We're all grains of sand on the beach of life. Enjoy each other. Don't destroy each other. If you have any comments, please leave comments, questions, constructive criticism in the comments. Subscribe and like the channel. The channel again is the Human Improvement Project, HIP, with your boy ABC, Adam Benjamin Coleman, the Human Improvement Project. Too hip. So anyway, I hope you made it through this video. Thank you to those who did. Thank you to those who have already subscribed and continue to watch. Appreciate you very, very much. And I hope that the right person heard this video. And like I said, if you have any questions or want to talk any further about a topic that I brought up, or you disagree with me, please holla at your boy. So till then, enjoy each other, don't destroy each other, be good human beings. Deuces.